company presentation is about Point-8 and the question how you will probably get the rank of master during your studies. And so, yeah, first of all, let me just say a few words about myself. So I made my PhD almost 10 years ago at the Dortmund University at the LHCb experiment. Did some studies about basically what's most of LHCb going on, measurements on the CKM matrix, and for me it was like measurements in B oscillations and stuff about flavor tagging for those of you who are also already a bit into this. So especially doing reference measurements on delta MD in the light B meson mixing. And so at Point-8 I had the luck to found a new company together with two fellow physicists. I think 7 years ago, so it's been quite some time now. And some of you might wonder, well, Point-8, I heard something about this already. And if you were at CERN, I don't want to explain you anything about CERN. Most of you will have got to know most of it, but well, there is a Point-8, which is basically the place where LHCb is situated. And in the long reviews of possible company names 7.5 years ago, this kind of got stuck to our company. So keeping our history at CERN connected to the newly founded company, and so we gave us the name of the pit where LHCb is situated, and that's Point-8. So what are we actually doing, or what did we bring from Point-8 at LHC to Point-8 in the industry? So usually we are collaborating now with small, medium-sized companies in Germany, mostly manufacturing companies. And yeah, most of you will have heard about digitalization in Industry 4.0 and how it's called in different countries. So most of it has to do with lots of sensors and lots of data that is somewhere flying around, mostly in production systems. And some of this is used, and some of this is actually taken for purpose in those systems, and some of the data just lie around, some get stored now. And basically, well, today it's been quite some time since we started talking about big data and stuff like this. And today most companies somehow store data in the cloud. And well, then at some point we get in, because with those investments in storing data and building up systems to organize those data that has been sold for like a decade now by the big tech companies, well, there has been around this idea of this magic wand that you take out, use the data, and you just get new business models, new products, and get a lot of money out of the data. And I think most of you already have thought about a little bit about what work it takes to analyze data in reality, and probably also what work it takes to make data, to get data into a shape that it's being analyzed. And so people realize somehow, so especially people in manufacturing companies realize during the last years that those magic wands just don't exist. So, well, there are some AI algorithms that are quite good in some special senses, but especially for small, medium-sized companies, they don't have that huge amount of data to train own AIs. They often have such specialized problems that they have to solve in their companies that it's just not suitable to take something that's going around at the market. And we actually are doing service in those companies and try to help them find out more about their data, learn about their data, and actually do prototyping with them. And well, this XKCD is quite old, but it still describes how data and algorithms are often seen in, especially in production, in industries that where you really have lots of engineers actually working on the heavy metal and building stuff. So they have their problems. They often know about their problems, and well, if they do so, people like us come in there and say, well, yeah, did you already try it with data science, with algorithms? Well, and you often have to be quite careful about this because, well, engineers often are quite, well, they have quite elaborate ways of doing things, and they are quite good in those things. And I think especially in the countries of this master studies here, they are quite famous around the world for their engineering different fields. And so you just don't get into there and know everything about it. But on the other hand, as physicists, well, we have probably quite some feeling for technology. And as physicists from CERN who got into working with huge computing clusters with huge amounts of data, that was something we said, well, let's just go into that. Let's learn about these technologies in the manufacturing companies. Let's use our knowledge about data science, about how you could do something with computers, and let's try to bring this all together. And this is basically what we do. Well, I clicked somewhere at the wrong position, sorry about this. I just don't get my window back. Wait a second. Okay, there it is. What we actually do today. So one thing we do, obviously, we take our own stock photos. So everybody you see here in the picture is actually working at Point-8, and every item is actually used for working. And so what do you see here? Of course, coffee is as important in Point-8 as it is for doing some actual and good physics. So if you don't like coffee, you can have tea, but still you have to drink something. But in the end, we're of course doing coding, writing some computer programs, writing prototypes, mostly in scripting. In some cases, for some companies, we are actually doing productive software and work on productive systems. We have to explain a lot. So doing talks, polishing data to nice histograms with explanations. Sometimes an animation with a story is something that really belongs to our work. So explaining why something works, what might be the problems, what could be possible causes of failure. And in the last years, additionally, we started working on hardware, because in many cases, you have lots of data, but in some cases, the customer just asks you a question that you cannot answer with the data that is there. And so you have to get some better data, new data, whatever. And we actually started for some projects to do some hardware prototyping to get better data and to show what you could have if you installed some more modern systems, some new sensors or stuff like this. And we actually often do this with using open source hardware to build the first prototypes. So basically measurement systems that might be based on Arduino, on the Arduino platform, and actual sensors that you can buy for €1 or 2 at eBay. So I said we founded the company 7 years ago, and I would say today for this we have quite a nice list of larger companies we actually worked together with, that are, for example, the Deutsche Bahn, that is Siemens in several projects, and there's also many of really smaller and not so well-known companies that are situated in the whole of Germany. That's also something I have to say about us at the moment. Basically, our business is concentrated on Germany, or at least the German, Austrian, and Switzerland area. And to give you a short impression of from where to where our projects actually go is, well, there are those high-tech projects where we are collaborating with Deutsche Bahn to improve one of the oldest problems of Deutsche Bahn, their trains being not on schedule. And on the other hand, we actually now have a project that just shows what happens when the shit hits the fan, in the meaning of the word, because we try to improve the performance of pumps in agriculture that actually pump stuff from the farmhouses to the fields. And and in between there's a huge span where sometimes we really work a lot on software, improving processes in software, and at some points it's actually the how could you actually measure something that we want to know, that our customers want to know, to improve their processes using our machines. And so what is it all about? What are we thinking what we could do together? That is, well, when we talk about master's thesis, or probably also the time afterwards, it's all about you and your abilities, the ideas you have and we can create together, and how we get those ideas to work and fit them into a prototype. And this is probably that what we would like to achieve if somebody says, let's do a master thesis together. What we can not give you now, and this, well, just because we are not such an old company and we have lots of projects that are just popping up, customers want to see some results, and then there are some new projects, even with the same customers. I cannot tell you today what we actually could do together in detail in a year. So if you like doing a master thesis that or some internship that is connected to industry together with us, then really the best thing is to talk about what you did in physics up to now, what is the place or the job you're going for, and then see what ideas we can develop together to get into into such a form of collaboration.